I previously measured the stick up of the cylinders, and I might be a little bit out of spec, but maybe a mil or half a mil, but I don't know if there's much I can do about it, so hopefully it's all going to seal up. Head gasket on. Sure looks pretty. Well, I really need a new, or at least I have to really clean up this valve cover. It's mostly on there just for dust protection at the moment. Here's my setup for the front cover timing or crankshaft seal. It's a flared piece of electrical tubing, fits right around the edge of the seal to press it in. Well, I'm probably going to regret it, but I used this Permatex water pump gasket maker for the seal, both here to the block and to the water pump housing to this pump casting. It's supposed to work. I'm a little nervous about it, but decided I wanted to know for sure. So it's getting there. Next step is the oil pan. Well, despite what I said, I'm going to go back on my word and go ahead and put the oil pump in before I put the oil pan on. And I think I'll also tighten up the rod bolts while I'm at it. I already torqued the main bearings, but I'll check them again just to be extra safe. Oil pan is on loosely. Again, I'm using this gasket maker and hoping it works. I'm not using really any gaskets anywhere, just going with gasket maker. And as an experiment, that'll be very frustrating if it fails. This engine has 0 miles on it, and it's already leaking, dripping. The engine is about as far together as I want to put it before installing it. So I'm going to look at the tranny real quick, take the cover off, and hopefully the gears look good. Maybe put some new seals in. There's 3 sizes of bolts. The longest ones are here, the next longest are here, and the 4 shorties are here and on the other side. Now there's a missing tooth down there. I think that's bad. Also the input shaft gears, I don't know if it's right there, but it's got a couple nicks on it. Hard to see, but I was hoping for better news in here. Alright, so this is my transmission from my 1967 TR4A, and I'm unwillingly going to rebuild it, I guess. I took the cover off and I found some chips, pieces missing in the teeth of the main input gear there, and there's some teeth missing on this bushing and or synchro. I'm not sure which is which right now. So I've read a lot about it and I've watched videos, and I'm going to try to take it all apart, and I think I'm going to document it in excruciating detail in case somebody else wants to do this and can see every single step. So I'm using the Haynes manual, which is probably just a copy of the workshop manual. And I took out the cross shaft here for the clutch previously, and I bought a new one because, let's see, where is it? This one is worn substantially here. I mean, it's worn horribly bad. And I also previously popped out the bushings here, and I have new ones for both sides. The bushing on the right side is longer because there's a bolt that goes through to pin the cross shaft in, and the bushing on this side is shorter, but I think I'm going to use 2 of the right sides just because it'll give me more bushing surface there for the shaft. Either that, or I'll put in 2 of these shorter ones to give it more So that stuff's not too hard to take out. Also, I took out the fork and throw out bearing. So those I probably won't show, at least taking them apart. I'll probably try to show it going back in. These guys have where they push. It's kind of flattened here, where it's been pushing all the years. So I'm going to either replace those pins, or I guess you can also rotate them. They ride in this groove here. And this guy, look how bent he is right in there. So transmission's had a little bit of abuse anyway, but not terribly excited about this because I know it's a pain to put it back together. But here we go. Okay, so I took out the top cover bolts previously, and the manual gives the impression that there's only two lengths of the 8 bolts. There's 4 of the shortest ones, which are, but on mine, the front bolts, the ones that go to the front of the car, and these 2 holes are not quite as long as these 2 that go towards the rear. So I have 3 different length bolts. But I got those bagged. I'll set those aside. Now this is a TR4A, and so I understand that he's got synchro for first gear, where maybe the early TR4, but at least the TR3 has no synchro for first gear. And so I guess this is first gear. And I have the overdrive, so that's going to be a little different. But I'm going to follow along in the Haynes manual here as we go. Okay, so the first step was to take this off, which I've already done. These were the 8 bolts go around the perimeter here, this top cover piece. And then it says to remove this piece, which of course I've already done. I had to take the gear shift lever out to get the tranny out of the car. So this cross bolt was removed, and then there's a set screw back here that's back in position so I don't lose it. And this guy's been powder coated. And these are the 2 switches for the overdrive unit, so it's only allowed to go into overdrive for I think gears 3 and 4. And I'll have to test those. And here's the gear shift lever removed. And it says to be careful because there's a spring and etc. that I think they say goes down here. I know there's an anti-rattle spring and plunger that you're supposed to put in somewhere. I've taken 2 of these apart now, and neither one has had that in it when I took it apart. But I do have the pieces. I think I actually have them right here. Yeah. So here's the anti-rattle pin or something. And then here's the little spring. I think that's what they're talking about. I'm not positive. But neither of the transmissions I've taken apart have had those pieces in it anyway. So, and that must be what they're talking about in the steps here.